So there is this white, mostly male, but sometimes female savior thing that goes on in a lot of Hollywood films. It's been going on since the beginning of time, and it's continuing even now. And it's something that we should all keep an eye on. Now, not all films that have that should be thrown out. Again, I'm sure you've heard me say that you can love films and films can have great things about them and still have things that need improvement. It doesn't mean they need to be thrown out. It means we need to recognize it. So this topic was suggested to me, but it's so apropos because I recently watched a film called Project Moonbase. I actually watched the Mystery Science Theater version of it, which is hilarious. Those guys are great. And it's a 1950s film. It's a science fiction film. And what I found so disconcerting about it, I mean, it's got a lot of issues, but is that there's a woman who's the colonel of the ship, and yet she defers to the man who is beneath her rank. And by the end of the film, she marries him and he gets promoted to general above her because a woman can be in charge in the future, because obviously it's a futuristic film. It's science fiction they're establishing a moon base, but it's also obviously still rooted in 1950s outlook of women and what they could actually be. Fascinating. Now, you may say, well, Shari, that's really old news. Well, let's skip ahead a couple of decades and go to Charlie's Angels. I wasn't allowed to watch the show in reruns. It was on in reruns after school when I was a kid, and I wasn't allowed to watch it. I used to sneak over to my friend Elizabeth's and watch it. She probably never knew. Hi, Elizabeth. I wasn't supposed to be watching it. My mother hated the show. Not because the women were running around in ridiculously short outfits. She didn't care about that. It was because they reported to a man. Like, they could be tough and in the field, but they had to report to a man. And not only did they report to one man, but they reported to another man above him who they couldn't even meet because he had to be mysterious and hovering over them like some kind of god. There's another film recently that I have said is a great film, and I stand by that. It's called Hidden Figures. It's about three Black mathematicians in the 1960s making their way and getting to be a part of NASA and all that it took to do that and be treated well, which I'm sure they were never really fully treated well, but they move things along. And the problem, though, that in that film is there still is a white savior, and that's not based on truth. That's actually a made-up character. Now, I know why they did it. They did it to move the plot along. They needed another character in there to sort of represent NASA as a whole in a way, embodied in a person, but he still is that white savior, and that's problematic. Still a great film to watch, still worthwhile, still a step forward, but problematic. So that's now. That's happening now. That's a pretty recent film. So it's getting better, but it's not there yet, and we need to keep pushing.